Hello,
Hello, good
hello.
evening on this sort of soggy Wednesday here in Phoenix.
I love it. Don't you love it?
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. We're still better than a good chunk of the country that's east of us, so
I mean, we're shoveling sunshine and rain too.
right.
Uh, let's kick this off. Welcome to Let's Have a Fifi. This is season 11, episode 11. Uh, for the last 10 years, we've been your Wednesday night conversation. Welcome, and I am Fifi.
Yeah.
Felicia
Did
Fifi
you,
Brandon.
you have to
I was
read
about to,
that?
yeah, I was like, what? What's my name? Um, and over there is an
Oh,
overworked elf that made it out of the factory.
barely. I am still Freddy Prinze Charming.
I love the look. I love the look.
Thank you.
My look, what I was telling Freddie before we started is not what I imagined when I looked at the screen. But when I was painting it, it looks to
It
me.
looks really cool. Like I don't know if it's translating exactly the way you wanted it to, but it still looks cool.
Yeah. I was like, I
Like it
want it
looks
to look
like almost
like
like a
broken glass.
it
Almost
almost looks like a
like,
stained glass window, I think.
oh, I didn't think about that. I could do that next time. But I first I thought, how can I do a disco ball? Because I thought of New Year's coming up and like the disco ball breaking. But I have another idea for that too. But I might do it with real pieces next time.
Mm.
Because they have the like safe ones that you can do.
Right.
So
The
you're not like
the the
scratching
plastic mirrors or whatever.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was going for. And all the pieces are like on my chest, but I didn't think this through. I should have put them somewhere else or thought of it. Anyway, uh, you can get exclusive content. Like we've posted a lot of stuff in the Patreon, and I feel like if more people were in there, they would know what we're doing. We don't post as much as you think on Facebook. We post a lot on
Mm.
Facebook, but we post more content that's something that you'd want to see on Patreon. But you can get
Oh, for
that
sure.
at patreon.com/let's have a fifi. And we'd like to thank our patrons Brandon D, Drake Jensen, Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Kim, Joan, Leanne, Nicole, and Shannon. A special thanks to Success Boutique, who so there's like pink sparklies in here. They sent me a whole bunch of like pink glittery stuff. So that's in there. LC Designs. We usually wear some designs, but not today. Wigs of a kind. Neither of, but we support the cause. I usually wear a wig. Um, just thank you. And then if you want to support us, you want to give us a little donation in the ducket, you can tip us at paypal.me/let's-have-a-fifi. And uh, whenever I get around to this, I really need to get better at this. You can, oh, wrong button. You can get text alerts from me at L8 by texting LHAF to 602-730-7379. I am I'll tell you about it in a minute.
Okay.
So if you're on Facebooks, be sure that if you want to support us there, we get like a penny for every star that you buy. So if you buy 99 stars, you buy us 99 cents. I don't know. Um, but we want to thank folks like DJ Image, Eddie Omega, Laura Renfro, and Tony Mattia, and more who have spent up to 500 stars. They've given us $5.
Hey, I'll take it. I'm not mad about it.
$5.
Yeah, we appreciate you. How was
So,
your holiday weekend?
my holiday weekend was a little bit more rambunctious than I anticipated. And this lash is like poking me in the eye. Hold on. Um, so, um, I'm off for winter break, which I've gotten a lot of things accomplished, like around the house and work wise. Anyway, my own personal work, not.
Right, right, right. Gotcha.
um, and so last week the car broke down. In fact, I think I was on the phone with Suzette and Brandy because we're working on something together. Um, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so what we thought was irreplaceable, something that's going to cost thousands of dollars, sounds like it's probably not.
That's
But
good.
always that emergency tidbit happens at the weirdest times. Um, Fortunately, we got a replacement car in time, so that's good. Um, but on top of that, the family was sick. Our household was sick, so we didn't have people over. Um, you know how you say like blessing and a curse?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the curse was them being sick, but the blessing was I didn't have to cook. So, so we ended up getting Chinese food.
Hey, you did a
Egg
Jewish
drops.
Christmas.
Yeah, egg drop soup was a popular thing
Yeah.
to make people feel better. And then last week I did a little bit of goal setting, um, took like a business challenge, and kind of just, ready to navigate the next year kind of thing. Reflection is always a big thing for me, um, for all y'all that know. Um, and then I received new tights, which
Oh,
are close to
oh
my
my God.
color.
Where did you get those?
So these are from uh, Nude Bar or
Hmm.
Nude Beret. I don't know. Nude
Bar.
Bar. But it came with, as I disappear, this cute little box.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, what is this? And my fishnets came in a little. I was like, oh, I feel so special. But that's not the part I was
Ooh.
most excited about. The part I was most excited about was the swatch
Oh, wow.
set that they sent, where you can look at this.
Wow. That's actually pretty damn cool.
So that was my post on Facebook was, as a person of color, I have changed my color of leg many a times. And so when I can find somewhere that actually like lets you take a test, or like it compares like a photo of you and says this is probably the color that you need, that's when you realize, yes, okay, yes, even if they mess up or something, I think I'll be sticking with them for a little bit, unless something better comes around. But for right now, somebody asked, I haven't opened them yet because I'm afraid of tearing them. Because I'm that person. I am that person. I will take them out just to look at them and like spill like
Uh,
French fries on them or something.
oh my
Um,
God.
and so I have not checked them, but they say they're opaque, but I don't know how opaque they are.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like any nylon, you probably have to pile them on and pile them on to get your
Wow.
perfect fit. But
That's pretty cool though. I like that it sends like a bunch of swatches that you can like check that.
yeah,
That's very cool.
and I
That's
was
very,
very
very cool.
excited. So if anybody wants to see any swatches, I guess
Just
I could
start
show you right.
just start carrying them around with you to like shows.
Like, well, I tried to see if I can earn some coin off of
Mm,
telling people
that
about
would be
this.
good.
But
Word.
how was your weekend? You had a more
uh,
adventurous weekend.
but it was definitely busy. So we drove to California Friday after work. Because we were taking the kids to Disneyland and California Adventure for
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, and then one of the kids' birthday is actually on the 25th. So, we did California Adventure on Saturday, which I'm glad we did that Saturday because it kind of gave the kids, all right, this is what you could possibly be dealing with in terms of lines, because we stood in line for the Radiator Springs track forever. It was so fucking stupid
Oh,
for no
really?
reason. Like, it was dumb, but it was like, it was okay. It was fine. It was fine. After that, everything went quick. It was good. We did Disneyland on Sunday, and my
Mm-hmm.
partner chose that day to get food poisoning.
Oh,
I'm not sure
man.
why she decided to plan that. I feel like maybe she could have made a better choice, but whatever.
I mean,
Which means
when you're gonna
she
eat
was,
nasty food that's gonna wreck your stomach, can you plan
except that she
accordingly?
didn't. She ate everything that I ate, and the only difference
Oh.
was that she had two drinks that I didn't have.
Oh,
She
well,
drank two things that I didn't have, and it was one of those things
that
that
wasn't
done
the
fucked
that's
her
not the
up.
first time I've heard that. I've heard like a coworker told me that like her daughter drank lemonade and then she was like, "Oh, I don't want the lemonade." She like changed her mind real quick. She was like, "Oh, I don't want the lemonade." And I don't remember where it was from, but she drank the lemonade and her daughter got sick and then she didn't get sick. She was like, "Oh,
Hmm,
maybe I."
dodged a bullet. So she ended up spending almost all of Sunday back at the hotel miserable. So it was just
Oh,
me and the kids at Disneyland. So for almost
that's
the entire day. So because my poor D. So the first ride that we went on Sunday at Disneyland is because we got there relatively early, so there were a lot of short lines for things. And the line for Pirates
mhm.
of the Caribbean was super short. It was only like a 10-minute wait. So we hopped right on Pirates of the Caribbean. And Pirates of the Caribbean is a nothing ride. It doesn't do anything. It just, this is right. She was sitting next to me throwing up the entire time.
Well, thank goodness
That was
you're surrounded by water.
in her water bottle.
Oh, I was gonna say
Yeah, that was super fun.
over the edge
She
is
left
fine.
right after that. She went away right after that. 'Cause
Oh my
that's no
gosh.
fun. Um, and then we drove home Monday. Got back probably about 8 o'clock or so. So it wasn't too late, but we both had to work in the morning, which kind of sucked. But at least
Huh.
Tuesday was relatively slow as far as work. But because of our recent Disney excursion, and Felicia just decided to do this, so what the hell? Felicia decided that part of my tip for tonight was going to be some Disney tips and tricks.
You're
For those of you that
welcome.
maybe haven't gone for a while or aren't aware of like a lot of the news things that are happening at Disney. Rule number one, as my tip, my biggest tip is don't get food poisoning.
Oh yeah.
Don't get food poisoning because that really puts a damper on things. Just saying. Just saying.
If you're gonna get
Um,
it, plan ahead.
so we did like the Disney bounding thing and we got matching, the little Loungefly mini backpacks.
Mhm.
So we got the mini backpacks to match everybody's outfits for the different days. And they're actually pretty roomy. Like you can fit quite a bit of stuff in it. But I highly recommend that um, if you get and you use the Loungefly backpacks for anything, whether it's a Disney trip or just to use it, go on Etsy and find someone that makes the like insertable organizers because the ones on
Mm.
Amazon, first of all, are too big. They won't fit properly.
Oh.
But it was pretty cool because we got they fit right in, and we fit like a little water bottle in there, um, lotion, hand sanitizer, chapstick, band aids. I put my like all sorts of stuff in there. Like you can fit all sorts of things, and then you can just pick it up and then put the whole thing in a new bag, and it saves
Oh,
things from like running, like all being,
and
just
digging
loose
around when
in
you're looking
there.
for it.
Right, it saves everything from being loose, and it keeps the insides of the bags from looking crappy. So I highly recommend that if you get a Loungefly bag, for anything, and it's one of the little mini backpacks, go on Etsy and look for the organizers. Like I said, don't get them on Amazon because they don't fit. They're too big. Um, and I had to look all over the place to try and find one that actually fit. And the only one I could find was a seller on Etsy, but she has all sorts of different designs, and it was cool. Totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Mm.
Um, for the folks that don't know, Disney now has a Magic Band Plus. It's like an interactive, that looks kind of like a Fitbit, but it's really cool, because it your tickets are linked to it, so you can just you link it to your tickets. So when you go in, they just scan it, boop, and that's it.
Hmm.
You don't have to worry about like trying to find your ticket. Where is my ticket? Did my ticket get wet? Did my ticket, whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and there's interactive things to do around both parks, like during the fireworks and World of Color and all that stuff. Like it lights up and it does fun things, and you can do like a bounty hunting thing in the Star Wars area in Disneyland. Like there's all sorts of cool shit that you can do. That I'm pretty sure that there's going to be more things. And I think if the Disneyland resorts, I know in Florida, they do this. I don't know if they do it in California yet. But you can they actually put your room key on
Oh
your Magic Band,
wow.
so that's how you get into your room. You just boop, scan your Magic Band. So they're pretty cool. There's all sorts of different styles and colors and all sorts of fun stuff. But those are actually really nifty to get. We booked through Costco Travel, which if you are Costco members, definitely check that out, because we did it when we went for my birthday and we did it this time, and both times we got really good deals. Um, Normally, the hotel that we stayed at charges, I think it was like 25 or $30 a day for parking, but because we booked through Costco, there was no parking fee, which was really cool. The deposit for the hotel would have normally have been $200, but because we booked through Costco, it's 25.
Oh
Costco
wow.
also gives you like a $150 gift card. Um, when we booked
Oh.
for my birthday last year, it we got free shuttle service. That didn't We didn't have that this year. It depends what the deal is when the hotel or whatever that is. But when we booked for my birthday, we had free shuttle service, and that was pretty nifty.
Did you have
Um,
to um like when you buy your tickets, did you from Costco, did you have to like go
mhm.
on the Disney website and make sure that the date was available and
Yes, yes.
that
So you still have
weirdness?
to go and you still have to make that reservation so that you still get the date that you want.
Okay.
So that, yeah, so you still have to do that. Um, Look for a hotel that offers breakfast, because even if it's not necessarily like the best breakfast in the world, if it's something, egg, sausage, toast, whatever, at least you can feed yourself and your kids or whoever before you go and deal with like lines to get in, lines to park, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, at least gives you a little bit of a boost first thing before
Were you guys
you
close enough to walk or were you
we could have, but we didn't. It was
oh,
about, if we had wanted to walk, it would have been about a half an hour walk, but Um, for us, because so the shuttle wasn't included this time with this package, and the cost of the shuttle would have been $6 per person, which it's like, okay, well, it was $30 to park, so it was just easier to park.
mm,
Um, Also, I'm not seeing the chat on my end. Why am I not seeing the chat? I'm seeing nothing. Yeah,
I
totally
don't
not seeing the chat.
I don't
Why am
control
I
these
not seeing the chat? Yeah, totally. I don't see the chat at all. That's awesome. Um, so for those of you that are wondering why I'm not acknowledging you, that's why. I don't see it at all. Um,
Oh, I thought it's because you have one eye whited out.
No, I can still see out of it. It's just a little fuzzy. Um, so we ended up parking because it would have been the same cost as a shuttle. So that was,
Oh.
um, the Genie Plus app, get it and get it early. Because it went from the time that, because we got it in with our package, we added it to our package, and at the time when we booked our package, just getting the Genie Plus by itself was like $20. When I looked at it a couple weeks before we left, it was 25. By the time we left, it went up to 30.
Oh, wow.
But oh my god, we saved so much time not standing in lines. Genie Plus was fucking fantastic, especially at Disneyland. We went and we were going to do Splash Mountain, and the
Marissa, you don't have
line
to
for Splash,
apologize to us.
like the regular Splash Mountain line, went like all the way around and then looped around the mountain itself. It was insane. And we used the Genie Plus, got into the lightning lane, and it was like we passed all of that. We waited for about 10 minutes before we got on, instead of like the hour and a half that it would have been. Really, 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 really good thing. So I highly recommend getting it. Um, Pay attention to, because on the Genie Plus app it gives you like the virtual queue times and then the wait times for the regular lines. And it's kind of cool because it won't let somebody just like book a whole, like you can't just get on the lightning lanes for everything. You can't just be like, and then you have to stagger it. So say you really want to do the Haunted Mansion, so you can book that at 3:30, and then you have to wait like a couple of hours before it'll let you book another lightning lane for a different ride. And you can only use one lightning lane per ride per day. So you can't, like, they won't let people just stand there and use the lightning lane for everything and like book everything. And like, so it's actually kind of cool. And it worked, it actually worked out really well.
Oh.
Um, you can bring coolers and insulated bags and things like that. If you have like a backpack and you want to put food and stuff in it, you can do that. We ended up getting a locker on the outside with an insulated bag that had like Lunchables and stuff, which was great because you could save a few bucks on food that way. And the locker was like $15, I think, for the day for a big ass fucking locker. You can put layers in there. You can do all sorts of stuff. So like it was great. Like it was, yeah. Um, and if you want like a fun thing to just kind of do with your, like if you're going with a group of people, look at Disney bounding because that was just fun. Because Disney doesn't let you dress as characters because it kills the magic. Like they'll let the little kids dress up in like the Disney, the princess dresses or whatever. But you're not allowed as an adult to go in dressed as Cinderella or dressed as Snow White or whatever because there's only supposed to be one Cinderella. So they're, they do that to kind of keep that whole magic thing. But, it's fun putting stuff together to like go Disney bounding was cool. It was fun. And we had the backpacks to match and it was a good time. It was a good time. I'm not, it was, um, I know that, my partner isn't thrilled with, how her, things worked out. But the rest of us had a good time, you know.
Oh, poor D.
Um, I know it was awful. She came back later in the evening, um,
But then she had to
and was
go.
able to, huh?
Then it's like, oh, I rode some rides and now we have to go.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. She came back in the evening. We took the kids on Rise of the Resistance. We watched the fireworks. We did Haunted Mansion, and then we left. Yeah, it sucked.
It was a
So
gift
I
that
had
gave to everyone.
I had to do my best to make sure that the kids still had a good time and were entertained. And I was like, oh my god, I guess on the plus side, it's good that the kids like me enough to be able to handle an entire day at Disneyland with me. So there was
Yeah,
that.
at least they like you.
Right. Because,
Because if they
yeah.
didn't, then eh, that could be kind of weird.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. It really was. Like it sucked. It was not awesome and it was not the way we wanted it to go. But everybody besides D seemed to have a good time, so I guess there's that.
Question, anything that you would not do again, as far as your trip? Oh, you enjoyed it all.
um, tough call. I think that we get food poisoning. We won't get food poisoning next year. Um, I think that
Oh,
so for me, California Adventure is not as good as Disneyland. It's fun. It's got some fun rides, but for me, like the best part of it is Disneyland. So I think for I would probably do a park hopper one of the days, so I could go like in the morning, get through
mhm.
some of the stuff at California Adventure, and then be able to hop over to Disneyland. Um,
I would say the
uh,
same thing,
right.
because depending on who you're with, though, sometimes they wanna be like, "Oh, let's go over there," and I'm, "Uh, uh."
It's and the other thing is like I mean when if you're traveling with people, make sure that the people you travel with are people that you actually like to travel with because there's some people that I wouldn't be traveling with. Like they're like I can't travel with everybody, especially with some place like that. You have to actually be able to enjoy the people that you're with.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, it was good. The kids didn't kill each other, but yeah, I think that's probably what I would do. Is I would get the park hopper
Oh,
probably
that's a
for
good one.
like for one day because we did California Adventure one day and then Disneyland one day. So I'd probably do one day with a park hopper and then Disneyland the whole day the next day. Um,
They are pretty
probably
big places, though.
right.
Um,
Um,
would not go back to work the day after? Yeah,
yeah,
I would not recommend.
that's yeah, that
And
was
you all
rough. Even though
drove, so
like
you didn't have the
oh, and
whole.
get our own room because we were in a suite, so we had um we were actually going to take the fold out couch that was in like the living room area, but then I'm old and I have to get up to pee all the time, and the door to the bedroom was like right there, like you'd walk in and I would end up hitting the bed every time. In fact, I did get up to pee once at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and as I was coming out, ran into the bed. So
Oh, fun for
yeah,
you.
we ended up putting our youngest out on the couch, and then the boys were in one bed, and then we were in the other bed. Whatever. I don't snore. It's fine. It's
I don't know.
fine.
The times that I've shared a hotel room with you, I've been too tired to even care.
Mm.
Uh,
And that's I was like, that's how you know that I'm exhausted, like because that was the night that we were, um, we had done California Adventure, so like I was tired, so that was like okay, yes, whatever, but it's fine. Um, so yeah, but that was I mean, all in all, it was good. It was fun for the most part, except for Dean. But the rest of us had fun.
one of my tips I would say is that if you can get there early, because the last time I went, we went like as soon as the park opened, because like
Hmm.
there's not really anybody there.
That's how we were able to get on Pirates of the Caribbean so fucking fast. Like we looked at the time, and like, oh, there's only like a 10-minute wait. Okay, like that's
Yeah,
it was
and so,
yeah.
like, most people are like, "Oh, no, I'll get there around, like, 11," and you're like, "Mm, when does the park first open?"
Mm.
And, like, you can pretty
It
much.
opens at 8 a.m. Like I would get there early because the earlier you
Yeah,
get there, you'll be able to like get more things done. Like, and it was like, um, oh yeah, if you see a ride, like Rise of the Resistance or something, because a lot of times they'll shut it down if they have to fix something or whatever. Um, if you see a big ride like that like shut down, kind of hover around in the general area because as soon as they open it back up, you can slip on
mhm.
because yeah, a lot of people will once they see it's like shut down, a lot of people will just leave. So I'm like, no, no, we can wait, and then we'll just
So, do they still
so
have the single,
single
ride?
rider lanes, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
for a lot of them, yep.
Okay, because that's another, like, if you don't have the Genie,
Hmm.
pass, you can So you have to be careful. You can't like go all in there like as a group. You have to kind of like stagger out a little
It
bit.
can be
But
tricky because a lot of times, like, you have to be okay if you do get split up, because a
yeah,
lot of times it's like they do only need one person to go on this thing, so they will, So if you're okay with being split up, then do
I
the single
will say
rider.
that I will never go on that Ferris wheel. Is it in California Adventure?
Mm-hmm.
I will never do that again. I screamed my head off. Uh, but I do love the Incredibles ride. Is that still there?
The Incredicoaster, yep. D and our youngest went on that one. I did not go on that one because D was available to do that. Oh,
Are you not a coaster rider?
no, I get sick. Um,
Oh,
I took the kids on the closest. Oh, so I took the kids. This is after D had left. We did Star Tours, which is great and so much fun, but I have to sit there like this the whole time because otherwise I will get sick. It's the ride that made it's the first ride we did when we went for my birthday, and I threw up all over the place. So I was like, at least I knew what I was expecting. So I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Um, and then later in the evening, after Dee had already joined us again, we went on Rise of the Resistance and then the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Ugh. Mm-mm. Never the fuck
interesting.
again. Never the fuck again.
Interesting.
I, oh God, no, absolutely not. I said, you know what? I'm gonna take one for the team, and I'm gonna go on this with you this one time because your mom can't. Next time, if she can't do it, I ain't fucking doing it. I no. Mm-mm. You go on it by yourself. Not happening.
Wow.
Um, yeah. So yeah, that was. Mm-mm, mm-mm,
uh, so I guess
no. Ugh. But
I would do.
see,
Just
Shannon, you
let
can
me
come with
know.
us next
I'll do
time.
the rides with the kids. I love all
Perfect.
on the
I was gonna
pictures.
do.
On the pictures, I will look terrified, but I love them. I don't know how to explain it to you. I feel terrified. I feel the exhilaration. I am very happy to be there, but when you look at the pictures as you are exiting the ride, you
Remind
go,
me to send you the pictures from a couple of them because they're fantastic. D, you have to send her the one from Guardians of the Galaxy, because the boys. So our youngest fucking loves like the roller coasters and the thrill rides. Like she was all about it. The boys were squealing and screaming the entire time. It was hysterical. It was so, oh my god, it was great. It was great. But yeah.
the Incredicoaster, I actually laughed the whole time. I think. I don't know why, but I love that.
There's
Um
throwing up everywhere.
I don't think I've been on the Guardians ride.
It's the what used to be the Tower of Terror.
Oh, I have been on that. I broke a nail the last time. Cuz like when it opened, it does the like ha
Uh-huh.
ha, and when it took us down, my hand went against the little handlebar. It's
What
fun.
is now?
It's
What?
fun. I was
Nope.
more worried about how fast can I get off this ride and get a Band-Aid.
Oh my god. Nope. Out. So we do have a twofer. We were gonna have we have the Disney tips, and then I actually have an actual tip for everybody tonight. Because I've seen some things kind of going around, and I
My
felt like it
headphones
was just a good
died.
time. We need to go into the new year and kind of remind ourselves about some things. So just
Like
briefly,
what? I'm a perfect person. I could never.
on I wanted to touch on privilege and isms because again we're going into new year, so it's a good reminder for folks. We
New
talked about
year, new
privilege
me.
actually during our trip over the weekend, with the kids, and we talked about how we were so privileged to be where we are in life, to be able to do things like take the kids to Disneyland for the holidays and things like we wanted to make sure that we recognized it and acknowledged the fact that that we were able to do that is a privilege, you
Mhm.
know. Um, so we wanted to make sure that that was acknowledged. And you know, again, privilege isn't inherently bad. You have to recognize it, you have to understand it. Doesn't matter what kind of privilege it is, whether it's white privilege, male privilege, socioeconomic privilege, whatever. Everybody has some kind of privilege. Everybody. No matter who you are, every single person out there has some kind of privilege. We've talked about this before. We acknowledge privilege, and we also all have biases, whether they're implicit or explicit. We are all guilty of isms, whether it be racism or ableism, whatever it is.
Mm.
Every single person has those biases, and we are all guilty of being racist or ableist or whatever it is. We are all guilty of it. There's not one single person that can say they've never had a problem with that before. They've never said anything even
Not even the
remotely
people that
ableist.
say they can't see color?
Mm, mm-hmm. Now, nobody likes being called out on isms, and the knee jerk reaction is to immediately get defensive instead of listening.
Mhm.
And one of the biggest examples, and I see this come up all the time. I can't even tell you how many times I see this specific thing come up. And so we've all heard of the shopping cart theory, right? And the idea is that you can tell if a person is a decent human being by whether or not they put the cart back, either where, up at the thing, or put it in one of the corrals in the parking lot. Okay. And the number of times I've seen people say things like, if you don't return your cart, you're a trash human, blah, 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 blah. I will 100% admit, I used to say the same damn thing because it was so fucking irritating. So fucking irritating.
So, I'm one of the people that will try to find a shopping cart, whatever, I don't know the name, but in the summer, I fall victim to, like, wherever the cart is, I'm not walking to find where it belongs. It's
Right.
hot out here.
So like I said, I've been guilty of the same thing. Being like, oh my God, why can't you just put it back where it fucking belongs? Like, how hard is it? Until a couple of years ago, somebody actually pointed out how fucking ableist that is. And it
Mm.
took me a second, and I had to do some Googling, and I looked around, and I was like, oh, nope, you're right. Most of us, right, we will put the carts in the corrals because we are physically, mentally, and emotionally able to do so. Right? We can do it. I go shopping. There's the corral's kind of down there. Okay, no problem. I'll go put it there, whatever. And there are people who are perfectly able and capable of putting carts back where they belong to, who choose to just litter the parking lots with random carts. If you're one of those people, just do better. Just just do better. However, consider this. There are elderly folks who maybe they've used the cart as a support
Mm.
while they're walking through the store. They're physically unable to return the cart because walking back to the car unaided would be too difficult. Are they
Mm.
horrible human beings? No. No.
I don't
There
know,
are
some of the older people can be horrible.
yes, they absolutely fucking can be. But just because they are unable to bring a shopping cart back to where
No.
it goes doesn't make them a horrible human. There are
Or you put your small baby in the car and can't leave them
yeah,
alone.
there are people who are struggling just to get out of bed who manage to use all of their spoons to get to the store to buy just enough to get them through the next couple days, but then they don't have it in them to get the cart back to where it needs to be because depression is real.
Mhm.
And people, I've been there where it takes everything I have just to go to the fucking store and get something so I eat and get home, and anything more than that is it's hard. It's hard.
I will say that this is kind of riding on the coattails of Dee's, the small child in the car. Sometimes um, uh, parents pipe in, if you will. Um, your spoons are being taken by your children, so you're like, "Ugh, I would love to escape all of them and go put this card away just for the 1 minute that I could do it. But somebody else is watching on the other hand. Oh, they left their kids in the car.
And there's that. I mean, and there's also people that have kids that literally cannot be left alone in a car for even a minute or so.
Hmm.
Um, there are kids that maybe they have special needs, and as soon as you're 30 seconds later, they are out and running around the parking lot.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to leave my car. Like, I'm not going to be like, okay, well, everybody stay here while I go put the. No, like, I'm going to put them in the car and hope that I can get everybody in the car before one decides to take off.
Hmm.
Um, there are people with invisible disabilities and issues that can cause other issues, and throwing a generalized statement out there that people who don't take their carts back are horrible humans is 100% ableist. I understand that having a few carts that aren't in the corral is inconvenient for the folks who, work there, who have to go make a cart run. But in the grand scheme of things, there are only a few carts that are out of place compared to all the ones that have been put back. Most of the carts are either in the corrals or back up by the entrance or whatever it is. Like, seriously, there's going to be a handful that are maybe up on a curb or something or in the parking lot somewhere. But for the most part, they're not. For the most part, they are where they need to be. I understand that no one likes being inconvenienced, but that's also where we need to step back and acknowledge our privilege. We are physically, mentally, and emotionally able to return the card, right? I'm physically
Absolutely.
I can put the card back. That is a
Wonderful.
privilege. Um, if you are with somebody that works at a grocery store or whatever, and you're complaining, the fact that you have a job, that is a privilege.
Oh,
That is a privilege. The fact
very
that
true.
you are able to function well at your job, that is a privilege. The fact that you are physically capable of making that cart run to gather up all the carts, thereby giving you all of that, oh, this is a pain in the ass and I don't like it and it's inconvenience, that is a privilege. The fact that we have access to the internet to be able to complain about the people who don't put the carts back, that's a privilege.
It's true.
That is a privilege. The fact that we have a cell phone or we have a computer that is capable of accessing the internet to complain about the people who don't put the cards back, that is a privilege.
Oh my
We
gosh.
are so quick to judge without thinking. We are so quick to get defensive without instead of listening and recognizing our implicit biases, because that's an implicit bias. You are
Hmm.
seeing this cart that is sitting over here, and because getting that cart is now an inconvenience, whoever left that cart there is obviously a shitty human being with no consideration for anybody else.
Absolutely.
That is an implicit bias, and we need to. And generally, at least these days now, people don't point out the isms to be dicks. They're doing it to educate and inform. I don't know how many times somebody's bitched about a shopping cart, blah blah blah, and a whole bunch of people have chimed in going, "Oh my god, I know it's awful," blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Hey, y'all, just so you know, this whole idea is ableist as fuck, and
Hmm.
here's why." And immediately, I get jumped on, and people are like, "Whatever, blah 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 blah." No, no, no. And to call someone who says, hey, maybe you should take a look at why this view is problematic, why this view is racist, why this view is ableist, to call them a troll says more about your lack of willingness to try and understand than the other person calling it out.
Hmm.
Remember that language and ideas change and evolve, and we need to be able to change and evolve as well. And
Absolutely.
honestly, so many people need to fucking check your privilege.
I also feel that there's a bout of entitlement happening
Oh, yeah.
um, with this ableism. Well, I deserve. No, 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 no. We kind of all deserve basic rights, but nobody is more entitled than anybody.
No.
It just sometimes I scroll through Facebook and I think, okay, I need to go to the other app that just has pictures of people doing things because
It's surprising sometimes. Like, you'll
well,
see
and
somebody
sometimes
post
it's
something and I'm like,
surprising because it's somebody that I didn't think would post that,
right.
and you go, okay, okay, I'm gonna take this in and then say nothing because uh, for me, I can't after the pandemic. We're still in a pandemic, but after us being in lockdown and realizing that we were all inside and had energy to fight one another, basically, uh, I got exhausted. I just was not in a place, and I'm still not in a place to educate people over and over again and say, I believe that you may not be in the right here. And it's just very exhausting. Um, Trying to be like, okay, but look at it from another lens.
Right.
'Cause
But so many people are just unwilling to try to even acknowledge that there is another lens. It's no, this is what it is, and it is this way because it inconveniences me. It makes my job difficult. Therefore, this opinion is right. Like,
mhm.
okay, whatever you say. Surprising. It's very surprising. Some of the folks I've seen post about things like that lately. Like, it's disappointing, really disappointing. But whatever. Speaking of disappointing, but in another way, the death toll in Buffalo, New York, is up to 28, which may not seem like a lot, but considering it's the time frame, it's a lot. With more expected as crews work to dig out residents and restore power after the town was buried in more than 50 inches of snow.
And I read this morning that they discovered a woman in her car that got buried um, in her car.
Yeah,
They couldn't tell if she was trying to get out or if she had just settled on she's stuck in the car. Um, but I think there's more cases like this because uh, 50 inches of snow is like
it's a lot.
very much at your
It's
front door, like
Yeah,
one of those things, like, we see the pictures and the snow is like at the edge of the door. And that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. Um, so if you get stuck in a blizzard and you can't walk to your front door to your apartment,
right,
uh, because in New York or any of these places, sometimes it's not like Arizona is so unique, I think. Um, you drive all the way up to your front door. Um, you can you don't have to fight your neighbors for a parking
right,
spot. At least not yet. I mean, there's privilege there. And so other places where like this lady was found is like maybe she had to park down the street and then walk to her apartment.
right,
And she decided maybe I just wait in my car, wait for the snow to calm down,
right.
and then she got stuck.
Yep.
or something. Because another thing that happens too is when the snow starts to cover and on all sides, there's no way for it to circulate air in the car or in your
Yep.
house. So you just have to be careful. I will say, Laura, I have walked in like 3 feet of snow. Um, not on my own intuition, but it is pretty hard. Takes a lot of strength.
Yeah.
Because snow is nothing to mess with. Um, the next thing on here, let's see. New York Magazine declared 2022 the year of the Nepto baby. Nep
Nepo.
the Nepto meaning nepotism.
Nepotism.
Nepotism. My brain's not working today. Um, or let's see, Nepo baby, a child of famous parents who benefits from their connections. Oh,
Apparently there have been a whole bunch of like people that have been in different shows and stuff that all have famous parents. So I guess 2022 is the year of the Nepo baby.
a wonderful privilege. It's continuing. See how it's working here?
Mm.
Was that your segue? That was your segue. You said, let me explain
Mm.
this.
You can
And
do the
let's
next one.
talk. um, this is not a Nepto baby, but this is a big baby.
Mm.
Um, Trump's tax returns are scheduled to be released on Friday. This really should be interesting, but some of the reports that I've read so far about how he wasn't charged for 2 years while he wasn't in the White House, um, there's a lot of explaining to be done, and somebody's going to have to answer for it, or he's going to have to answer for it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see who is more responsible.
It's going to be interesting. So
So,
this next headline was actually kind of interesting. West Point Military Academy is going to start removing Confederate monuments on its campus, including a portrait of Robert E. Lee in a Confederate uniform. The changes at West Point were approved by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in October and are part of a larger set of recommendations proposed by the Naming Commission, which was mandated by Congress last year in the National Defense Authorization Act. The Commission's thorough and historically informed work has put the department on a path to meet congressional intent and to remove from U.S. military facilities all names, symbols, displays, monuments, and paraphernalia that honor or commemorate the Confederacy. Like, this is a big deal, y'all.
yeah.
Austin wrote in a memo approving the recommendations. The commission has chosen names that echo with honor, patriotism, and history, names that will inspire generations of service members to defend our democracy and our Constitution. So basically, they are getting rid of all the Confederate bullshit, which that.
So, when you read articles like this, I don't know if you're, I don't participate in the comment section, but I like to go
No.
and read the comment section. It is very scary,
Mm,
very scary that we have people in our country that believe that it's a crime that we're taking these statues down. Um, but I also see people saying like, why don't we have like statues of Harriet Tubman up? And then those people that are saying that this is a shame that we're taking Confederacy
right.
show their true colors underneath that one comment. Like, why isn't there a Harriet Tubman or a John Lewis statue? They go after,
Mm-hmm.
and I say,
Yep.
oh, your racism is showing. Um, it's because, you know, I hate to say this, but the history that I believe that some people are focusing on is based, we all know this, is based in white supremacy. And so there's a lot of movement happening right now. Um, and I believe that those people that are fighting for these little wars of Confederacy and all these other things are afraid of things becoming equal or things becoming as they see it, let me be clear, as they see it, as their supremacy fading away. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you see these arguments, be careful how you jump in. um, say you're stick to fact, because that seems to win better over anything. So yeah, I was like, oh, that's good for them. But not good for some of us. RSV, flu, and COVID are hitting pretty hard this season, with numbers hitting higher sooner than in previous years. What I think and what I have read is that in the last 2.5 years, we have been very careful. We've even worn face masks with our family members until like recently. And some of us haven't even left our house um, unless we need to be around people.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have those people that haven't seen their relatives in like 4 or 5 years, but then all of a sudden they're bringing in the diseases to the person that was so quarantined and so clean and washing the hands. I mean, clean as in washing the hands, not as in. Mm. Um,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
um, and you want the best for your relatives. You want to think, oh, they wash their hands. Oh, they do that. No, John Doe is the same guy that I work with that walks out of the bathroom and then goes serves
Mm,
himself some casserole at the potluck. So,
yeah, no. I mean, that we D was sick here for a bit. One of the kids was sick here for a bit. There's like kids are sick all over the place, and kids are gross and bring home germs, which means that everybody else gets sick.
tell me about it.
Um,
I'm already there.
but if, like, and I, for the last couple of years, we've been wearing masks almost all the time, and since nobody's wearing masks and it's flu season, hey, guess what's back?
They're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I got my flu shot. I can't believe that this is
That's not
happening."
how that works. Like the flu shot does what the COVID vaccine does, which is it makes things tolerable. It like minimizes things and the symptoms and reduces the length that you might be sick. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I say that oh, one thing that I do know as this all upticks is that children's Tylenol and other things like cough medicine are, I don't know. We go into like this weird like we need to snatch all the things off the shelf kind of.
Mm.
Anybody just like when we were like, "Oh, we're going into a pandemic," everybody said, "Let's get toilet paper and paper towels." Uh, and so, yeah, there was no because Lily had a legitimate fever, and we went to go get Tylenol, and it was like one bottle on the shelf, and I was like, "Really? What are we doing?"
Stupid.
But I also understand like maybe the household that has like 6 kids and they all get it. So um,
And the fact that I think a lot like RSV and stuff is going around the schools like nobody's business. So that could be part of it too, is the fact that everybody's sick, so everybody's going to get Tylenol.
oh wow.
It's just dumb.
Oh, that's
What have we got coming up?
oh. So right now I don't really have anybody signed up for it, but if you decide to, uh we will be having a New Year's Eve virtual bingo, or I will. If nobody signs up for it, I'll just cancel it because no sense in me sitting in a Zoom room by myself. And and if nobody buys any bingo cards, then I just end up sitting there by myself. Anyway, and that is at 8:30 on the 31st. And if you could sign up on the Google form will also ask you to pay. And then you pay and then you get your bingo cards. I will send the bingo cards once the form tells me that you've signed up. It's a weird little system that I've set up that it just automatically does the thing. And then I say, oh, okay, you got a bingo card kind of
That's
thing.
handy.
So, and then on January 14th, we oh,
Excuse
oh,
me.
oh,
Sorry.
speaking of,
It's because I have no, it's mostly because I have makeup in my nose.
uh-huh. Um, on January 14th, we have sex trivia at Gracie's in Phoenix at 8 o'clock. Come down and be educated, or and or be educated and watch all the people that are sexperts find out that they're not sexperts at all because they leave feeling so like they've got a lot
Yeah.
to learn.
Saturday, January 21st, Three Face Review is moving to a new venue, and this is our first show there. We're kind of testing the water, seeing what it's like. We are going to be at the Cash nightclub. Show's going to
Hmm.
be at 10 p.m. Tickets are on sale now. I believe I posted the event. Go check that out. Go get you some tickets. And come support us in the first show in the new year at a new venue. It should be exciting.
I
And
may
then
not be able to
January
support you there.
28th, I am in Lady Christian's final show at The Rock. So that should be a ridiculously good time. I can't even imagine what that show is going to be like. Um, but
Super
if
crowded.
you
Get your
message
RSVP.
right, message Lady Christian if you would like to reserve a table, or if you let me know, I can also put you down for a table. But I would highly recommend coming out because it's going to be a good time. Definitely going to be a good time.
And you got a dose of her last week, so
Yeah. Oh, Lord. Lord.
let's see. Upcoming guest. On January 18th, we have Kathy Blaze, who's a host, entertainer, and actor.
I
Uh,
don't know who that is.
huh?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you will. February 22nd, we have Holly Shoemaker.
I know who that
We
is.
have both, huh?
I said I
We
know
have
who that
both
is.
worked with Holly in some fashion. Um, and can't wait for that. And then on March 8th, we have Miss Phoenix Pride, Desiree A. DeMornay, joining us. And then we have some guests in the talks. We have not confirmed yet, but I can't wait until we can tell you more.
I know we've got some good guests in the works, so hopefully they will confirm soon.
And
Hopefully.
thank you for joining us for your Wednesday night conversation. Yes. And this has been just what I was going to say earlier is today I have been like floating on a cloud because I think it's the rain. I just been kind of like, oh,
I'm not mad about the weather. I enjoy it.
no, that
Especially
I think
since like soon we won't be getting much of it. So I'm like I will take all the rain I can get. I'm okay with it.
more of like a relaxing day, kind of like, oh.
Mhm.
And thank you to all of you who are watching live and who watch on the replay. I believe now that number is 7,000. We have
Ooh,
nearly 7,000 downloads on our podcast. So thanks for listening to us as a podcast as well. And we will see you next week for your Wednesday night conversation.
good night.
Good night.